But what I can promise you is that the federal government will be working as closely as possible with the state and local officials, and we will not quit until this is done.
Before the storm even hit, FEMA began to deploy incident management assistance teams all over the East Coast. Obama, FEMA, and the Coast Guard all worked together in tracking the storm and deciding what to do about positioning emergency relief centers throughout the East Coast. On Friday, October 26, FEMA deployed 7,700 FEMA personnel to various emergency operation centers to help out with Hurricane Sandy victims. Usually in the first 10 days, there is no need for bids as FEMA will cover all of your costs. However, because the damage of Hurricane Sandy at the Jersey Shore was so immense, the reimbursement period was extended to 13 days. Even though FEMA offered help, food, and emergency shelters, many criticized its response to the storm. Based on a house's location on the flood map, FEMA mandated that all houses be elevated from between 5 to 15 feet. In addition, FEMA will only be covering and reimbursing damages to homes that were a family's primary residence. Currently, 2,000 plus FEMA housing inspectors are all over the East Coast assessing over 170,000 homes.
FEMA's been great. Cindy Morrow has been in town almost every day helping us with the program, as well as Jim Binner, who works with her. Really, really fantastic. They've been on the ground trying to help us get through it.
Overall, many held higher expectations for the help they would receive from FEMA and were therefore let down and angry. Before the storm, the National Guard went from house to house all over the Jersey Shore, including LBI, and asked people to leave their homes. The National Guard positioned more than 61,000 National Guard personnel along the eastern seaboard. After the hurricane hit, National Guard members went in emergency boats all over the shore to try and rescue any victims that chose to stay in their homes. When they checked the house to see if it was clear, they put a strip of red tape on the door signaling that it was evacuated. The National Guard worked alongside with FEMA and the Coast Guard in ensuring that the victims received housing, food, and were safe. They transported hundreds of people to emergency shelters and did everything in their power to make sure that people were safe. Lastly, they blocked people from coming down the shore until they saved everyone and that they could make sure that conditions were safe to come down. National Guard personnel went along the beaches and hunted down any looters and trespassers. In contrast to FEMA's efforts, many were pleased by the help of the National Guard. In terms of Congress, there was a lot of turmoil and issues when it came to agreeing on a bill that would address the damage of Hurricane Sandy. While the Senate immediately passed the Hurricane Sandy relief bill, the House of Representatives adjourned before passing the bill. This caused an uproar in the House of Representatives as the Democratic representatives were furious.
Not one of us in this Congress that could not be in the same position. I live on a coastal state, but whether you live in the Midwest or the far West, whether you live in the South or the East or the North or the West, you could be, and your citizens could be, and your neighbors could be confronted by a natural disaster, or for that matter, a man-made disaster. And our fellow citizens would expect us to respond, as the United States Senate has responded. It was my belief, and assurance was given to me, not 100%, and the gentleman who gave it to me did not make this decision. But I am deeply disappointed, Mr. Speaker, and the people who have been damaged by Sandy, including Governor Christie, a Republican, and Governor Cuomo, a Democrat, should be deeply disappointed and, yes, angry that this Congress would adjourn without addressing the pain of our fellow citizens.
Many Republicans did not want to pass the bill, as they thought it was too much money, and with the current debt and deficit, the United States could not afford to spend any more money. The H.R. 31 Hurricane Sandy relief bill was finally passed after many representatives and Chris Christie spoke before the House expressing how imperative it was to pass the bill. Finally, it was passed on April 4, 2013, and was an act to temporarily increase the borrowing authority of the Federal Emergency Management Agency for carrying out the National Flood Insurance Program. It stated that Section 1309A of the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968 is amended by striking $20 million and inserting $30 million. Even with receiving bills and grants, many towns and states are still working together to receive more money from the federal government.
And I saw what thousands of Americans saw over Memorial Day weekend. You are stronger than the storm. After all you've dealt with, after all you've been through, the Jersey Shore is back, and it is open for business, and they want all Americans to know that they're ready to welcome you.